Mr. Mayor, we're now live.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. We have a fantastic agenda lined up for tonight, and we're going to try to do our best to get everybody in and out of here in less than 1 hour. But let's start. First of all, welcome to the March the 2nd Madison City Council meeting. If you will please rise and remove your hats, and we'll recite the Lord's Prayer followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, everyone. Clerk, may we have a roll call, please?
Jan Hill.
Here.
Bartlett.
Here.
Shannon.
Here.
Ranky.
Here.
Lucy Dattilo.
Here.
Creech.
Here.
Kavanaugh. Here.
Council, have you had an opportunity to review the minutes from the February the 2nd, 2021 meeting? And if so, unless there are modifications or amendments to that, we'll entertain a motion to approve those minutes.
I move that we approve the minutes from February 2nd, 2021 as presented.
I'll second that.
Okay, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Thank you. Tonight, I'd like to first introduce Chief John Wallace, who will make some remarks, and then we'll move forward with some public police officer recognition.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, Council. Not on the agenda tonight is a presentation by Seth Mel. It's just something that came to us at the department after a long wait for a grant. So I did ask Seth to join us here tonight to display one of the latest safety tools that we were able to get through a grant that Seth spearheaded and applied for and brought to our department. Officers contribute in so many different ways. I mean, some are out working narcotics. These guys are saving lives. Well, Seth will save your life too, but he may be very well saving your lives by doing the hard work that he does to secure these grants. So without saying anything further, I'll have Seth step up and show you a new device that we're going to be implementing with all of our patrol officers. Officer Nolan.
Hey everybody. So a couple years ago I notified of the Indiana Public Employees Plan doing a safety grant once a year. In the 2020 year I applied for the safety grant. They're a nonprofit organization for workers' compensation. So the grant is to try and improve safety within a department. Other departments here have gotten it. This year I applied for these safety lights, which they come off kind of small, but it actually could be a really important tool for us because of the visibility. That was the big point that I made in the application, is we can make officers more visible when directing traffic, et cetera, or on traffic stops or foot pursuits, we'd be more visible. And each officer in the patrol division is going to be given one. We've got them already, just need to get them out there. And at the chief's directive, we'll be required to wear them and utilize them as much as reasonable. But just a quick demonstration, just because you might see us using them. It's just like a light bar in your car, only it's on your body. We can use it in different ways. We can use it as a flashlight, forward facing. We can use it just to light up or behind it so a car can see us when they're coming up onto a scene. So that's about it. Just wanted to.
What's it's actually given a name, right?
Yeah, the Guardian Angel light. Yeah, and it's really picked up steam and getting really popular with other departments. There's a lot of departments that are implementing it for safety reasons because visibility is a huge thing. And we have the safety vests that we can put on, but there are a lot of situations where that isn't something that's always attached to us. And this is magnetically attached to our vests or our uniforms. Like it can be magnetically attached to his shirt or to the vest that we wear on the external. So it's always readily right there, no matter what the scenario is.
So show me how that works. It's got a magnet underneath.
Yeah. So it can be popped off. This shirt's a little thin, but it just pops off and pops right back on. So, and it's really strong, so it ain't flying off anyway.
Seth, thank you. I just want to say thank you very much. That is fantastic. I know you do a lot of research and grant writing for the police department. You're a critical part of the success down there. So thank you for bringing that innovation to us.
I met with Alyssa, we're gonna start working on some stuff too.
Fantastic. We're going to introduce Alyssa here in a little while. Thank you, Seth.
Thank you, Seth, very much. Again, he does a lot of behind the scenes, very hard work, not a lot of limelight, but boy, is that important stuff that he does for us, so we very much appreciate him. Tonight, I'd like to recognize two more of our patrol officers, Officer Cody Lewis and Officer Jordan Perry. We were going to have a third here tonight, Officer Josh Nolan, who will be hopefully at the next council meeting. Unfortunately, he was exposed to the COVID virus the day before yesterday and is on quarantine, so unfortunately won't be able to make it. At the end of my presentation, we have a short video that we would like to show the council. It's from our body cams, and it's of these rescues that these officers made on these two different nights. Again, the faces are blocked out. Our intention is never to embarrass anybody, but our intention is to show this council and our citizens what our officers are all about and what they do on a daily basis. And before I forget, I would definitely like to thank Aaron for all his hard work on helping us produce this so we can show it to you without exposing identities. So first I would like to ask Officer Lewis, if he would step forward, please. On February 2nd, 2021, Madison Police and KDH EMS responded to a residence of 200 block of East Main Street, reference an overdose victim. Patrolman Cody Lewis was the first to arrive on the scene and found an unresponsive young male on the floor of the residence. Officer Lewis began life-saving measures by administering CPR and continued to render aid until the victim was turned over to KDH EMS. As a result of Officer Cody Lewis's heroic actions, the victim survived. On behalf of grateful citizens of Madison, Indiana, and a very proud Chief of Police, it's my honor to present Madison Police Patrolman Cody Lewis with the Life-Saving Medal of Honor. Good job, Chief. Very proud of you. Thank you. And if I could have Patrolman Perry, please step forward, please. February 3rd, 2021, Madison Police and KDH EMS responded to a residence on Kentucky Avenue, reference an overdose victim. Patrolman Josh Nolan, and Jordan Perry responded and immediately administered first aid to the unresponsive young male. The officers performed CPR and administered Narcan to the victim, who quit breathing on several occasions. As a result of the heroic actions taken by Patrolman Josh Nolan and Patrolman Jordan Perry, the victim survived. On behalf of the grateful citizens of Madison, Indiana, and a very proud Chief of Police, it's my honor to present Madison Police Patrolman Jordan Perry with the Life-Saving Medal of Honor. Congratulations. Thank you.
Hey, Chief.
Yes, sir.
Sorry to interrupt.
Yes.
And we just got an email that we secured another full supply of Narcan. Just a note on
That's
that.
right, we did, yes.
Just a side note.
Another email from Grant that we asked for to supply the department with Narcan. Narcan is that narcotic we use, I'll tell you, it's like bringing it back from the dead, and I think essentially it is. It's just unbelievable. They administer that, how, life is resustained, and officers are able to carry it on their body and use it a lot more than what we wish we had to. As you can just see, those 2 days in a row there, but thank God we do have it, and as I've told this council in the past, we're not here to judge, we're not here to decide people's fate. We're just here to make sure that we can do all we can do to sustain life, and these guys and girls that we have on this police department go out and do it on a daily basis, and I couldn't be more proud of them. So we thank you for allowing us to come before you and supporting these officers and rewarding them for the outstanding job they do. So thank you guys. Your order, sir. Just kind of warn you, some may find this disturbing.
6 months, okay? So we let EMS know we're getting a dark head up here. It's on the 3rd floor of the building. CPR's beginning.
His body can't kick it out at night. Most hours of daylight.
CPR going on.
Yes.
There's a heartbeat.
He starts breathing, but then he stops again.
He has a heartbeat.
Breathe.
Right on the 28 and shopping and Narcan up here.
Okay, elevator,
Next
stairs.
to the stairs. Well, there'll be people out there waiting at the stairs and start heading up the stairs. Come on, man. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Buddy, you still with us? You got your car around back. You with me? Stay with me, buddy.
Thank you for watching.
So we're gonna get a lot of people we don't come as well anymore.
Come with it. Here. In here.
It's on policy. It was starting to sound like you're starting to try to talk. Definitely is not cat. There's saying heroin overdose.
I don't know for sure, but.
Actually, I didn't know this was on here. This is actually a fire that the officer assisted with. Okay.
Let's move them to the floor. I don't see any stomach rising.
This is the second life saving on the
That's on the way, chilling. Very good. I got an Narcan in my pocket if you want to use it. Yeah. Central Oil and Narcan on the answer. What's his name? Wake up on me, buddy. Right, let's move him down. Yeah. He's trying to breathe. right. We got another round on. Yeah. It would appear so. He's starting to learn. What's his name? Chest is beating. He's trying to breathe on his own. You got another can? Simple. I'm gonna try another Narcan. He's trying to breathe. I'll do it again. You said it was about 15 minutes before you called?
Like I said, first I was just joking, I was stupid, but then he didn't stop, and then he started doing this.
And you don't know what he,
Like I said, he used to be on here, but
you know, if he's got a stash or anything in the house?
I know he doesn't hear no.
What's your relation? His boyfriend? Friend?
No, he's my ex-husband's nephew.
Okay.
He stopped by to hang out. Freaking out, man. What did he do? What did he do on him?
He's not breathing now. Advice CPR's in progress. He's not breathing. Come on, buddy.
Thank you, Aaron. See, it's hard to watch, but it's reality. That's why we got to keep the throttle to the floor on when it comes to dealing with our narcotics issue here in this community and all communities. Like I said, very proud of these guys and all the officers. They go out on a daily basis and do what they can do to take narcotics off the streets and save lives. And I am happy to announce, not necessarily happy to announce, but I will announce that just prior to me coming down here, that the MPD, assisted by Hanover Police, we arrested a narcotic dealer out of Clark County, Indiana, that we believe was a significant contributor to our narcotic issues here in the community. So it took several months to complete and accomplish, but we're out there. Don't ever think, and I'd like the public to know, don't ever think your tips and information you give us is falling upon deaf ears. We're hitting it. It just takes us, sometimes it takes us a little while to put these cases together. But thank you for allowing us to be here tonight, and thank you for allowing me to show my appreciation in our communities, and I'm sure yours as well, to our officers.
Chief, I just want to say thank you. We're very proud of you. This is the result you get when you're investing in public safety. You know, the observation here is just how professional and trained and calm they were in a really, really difficult situation, and they're doing this all the time. So, you know, our police officers get respond over 20,000 calls a year. It's an overwhelming job, and they do it with such poise. So, really grateful for them and the investment that we're making in public safety in our community and your leadership here too. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Council.
Well, we're going to have a busy month. I'd like to read a proclamation acknowledging Tri-Kappa's contributions to our community. So, is someone here from Tri-Kappa? You'll come up here to the podium. I'll read this. This is is the City of Madison, Indiana proclamation. To all whom these presents may come, greetings. Whereas Kappa 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 Inc. is a philanthropic sorority. And whereas Kappa Kappa Inc. was founded March 1901, so this year they celebrate 100 years of promoting charity, culture, and education in Indiana. And whereas Kappa 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 membership is located solely in the state of Indiana, and whereas Kappa 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 celebrates our membership and philanthropic activities in our Indiana communities the 4th week of February each year. It was postponed because we had a snow day, didn't meet that night. Whereas membership celebrates the spirit of volunteerism and kindness throughout the state of Indiana. Now therefore, I, Bob G. Courtney, Mayor of the City of Madison, do hereby proclaim February 14th to the 20th, 2021 as Tri Kappa Week in the state of Indiana, and invite the whole community to note this occasion. In witness hereof, I set my hand and seal, and I would like to present this proclamation to you. Thank you for all the contributions you've made to our community, and certainly invite you to tell a little bit more about Tri Kappa in the community. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Hello, my name is Natalie Garrett, and I am the current recording secretary and publicity chair for the Beta Omega chapter of Tri Kappa sorority in Madison. On behalf of the chapter, I'd like to say thank you to Mayor Courtney and the council for taking the time to help us celebrate Tri Kappa Week. Our mission is to promote charity, culture, and education in our community and throughout the state of Indiana. In addition, our chapter will celebrate its 100th anniversary later this month. Since 1921, generations of women from the Madison area have completed countless service projects and raised thousands of philanthropy and scholarship dollars to help support our community. Thank you again for your time and support of Tri Kappa.
Natalie, thank you very much. Appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. I'll just make a note, yesterday in Board of Public Works, we had another local service organization who's also celebrating its 100-year anniversary, and that's a local pilot club. They've been doing tremendous work, and in partnership with Tri Kappa and others throughout our community, they play a vital role. I want to read one other proclamation. The City of Madison proclamation, whereas the month of March 2021 has been designated as Disability Awareness Month to celebrate and recognize people with disabilities by the Governor of the state of Indiana. And whereas disability is a natural part of the human experience and in no way diminishes the right of individuals with disabilities to live independently, enjoy self-determination, make choices, contribute to society, and experience fully in the economic, political, social, cultural, and educational mainstream of American society. And whereas family members, friends, and members of the community can play a central role in enhancing the lives of people with disabilities, especially when the family and community are provided with necessary support services, and public and private employers are aware of the capabilities of people with disabilities to be engaged in competitive work in inclusive settings. And whereas the goals of this city and state properly include providing individuals with disabilities the opportunities and support to make informed choices and decisions, live in homes and communities where such disabilities and individuals can exercise their full rights and responsibilities as citizens, pursue meaningful and productive lives, contribute to their family, community, state, and nation, have independent friendships and relationships with others, and achieve full inclusion in society. Now therefore I, Bob Courtney, Mayor of the City of Madison, do hereby proclaim the month of March 2021 as Disability Awareness Month in the City of Madison, and call upon citizens to observe the month with appropriate programs and activities. Furthermore, I encourage the citizens of Madison to seek counsel and input from any person or group with knowledge and expertise in matters concerning disabilities. Signed by March 2nd, 2021. Thank you. And it does not go without saying that this is also Women's History Month. So I want to thank everybody for their contribution in the past and in the future. Moving forward, we have no resolutions or bills. We have under reports, recommendations, and other business. Councilman Rampey, is there anything to report with regards to standing or select committees?
Nope.
Councilman, you and I talked earlier today. We are going to ask the new projects committee to evaluate proper ordinances and regulation for food trucks, and that might involve a number of things: evaluation of zoning and our current peddler permit for transient sales. So I know that's in the hopper, and we'll get that scheduled. Right now, I'd like to go to reports of city officials, so I'll invite Nicole Schell here to give a report for city planning, preservation, building and zoning.
Good evening. You should have a report for me. I want to begin by introducing our first full-time preservationist, Brooke Peach. She began with the city in January, and she'll be taking on all the historic district stuff that I had been doing previously.
Hi, as she said, my name is Brooke. I'm really excited to be here. Love Madison. We've already been doing a lot of exciting things with Historic Board and look forward to doing a lot more. So thank you. Good meeting you. If you ever
You want to
need
give us a little
anything,
background?
please
You're
reach
from Chattanooga.
out. Oh yes, sorry.
You're
a
an
little bit of
You're an
background.
ardent Saints fan, and what else?
I am a Cajun originally from Louisiana. I was living in Tennessee for a while. I owned a preservation business, have a master's in preservation, and I'm sharing this publicly tonight. I haven't had a chance to tell you yet, so I apologize. My dissertation phase of my PhD was just accepted this evening. So I started that, and hopefully in about 2 years, we'll be adding some initials to the end of my name. But yeah, other than that, I've had a passion for history, architecture, preservation for a long, long time. And Madison is definitely a unique treasure for that. So thank you, sir.
What's your favorite movie?
Madison. I love it.
There you
Now
go.
that you told
All
me
right.
about it, I love it.
I didn't plant that. That was a prerequisite, though. She had to watch the movie Madison, and what was the other movie?
It was Hoosiers.
Hoosiers.
Yep.
If you're gonna live in Madison, you gotta watch those two movies.
And just to say this, not to sound hokey, seriously, as a newcomer, it made me so proud of my community to watch Madison. I was raised, around water. My dad was a ship captain. We were on the boat every weekend. So boat races was a thing that we did a lot as spectators, but so seeing that and seeing that proud history was the way the community rallied together and still does around a lot of issues. Made me really proud. So thank you for that.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome, Brooke.
Just to give you a brief update since my last report, in January, the Historic Board reviewed 4 applications. Of those, 3 were approved. In February, they reviewed 6 applications, 5 were approved, and then staff has reviewed 4 applications in January and 2 in February. We've already scheduled the Historic Board meeting for March. They have 13 applications, so they're going to be quite busy compared to normal. PACE committee has also been busy. They've already reviewed 17 applications. 16 of those were approved by the Board of Works, and they have 5 applications at their upcoming meeting. For Stellar, you will have a copy of our quarterly report in your packet. We saw from the state that they are pleased with the progress we're making on our projects. Recently, we announced that we received the grant for Crystal Beach of $2 million. So that actually began bids. We put the notice to bidders in the paper last Thursday, and I know we've already gotten a handful of requests for plans. So we're hoping to get a competitive bid from that, and we'll open that in April. The office has been quite busy, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
When I see all of the application volume going through either staff or PACE or the Historic Board, I immediately translate that into investment in the local community. And so earlier today you gave a report to Redevelopment Commission talking about just the amount of private capital that's been attracted through the PACE program, and then also the volume of investment that's happening through the historic district, and now expanding that to the hilltop. So I want to thank you for your leadership on all of those fronts, and the Stellar projects have been very, very actively engaged too. And if you've noted here, the Redevelopment Commission previously and then today formally approved a grant agreement for $250,000 for the Ohio Theater project, which is part of the stellar strategic investment plan too. So lots happening around here.
Yes, been busy.
And I should congratulate Nicole. Nicole has taken on a new assignment with the City of Madison. She is now department head for, and I'll probably butcher the name of the department, but planning, building, and design.
I don't know that we've named the department.
Planning, building, and zoning.
Whatever the mayor would like.
What we're doing is taking our planning, so right now we have planning, preservation, building and design, and consolidating them into one department, and we think that we get a lot of synergies by doing that, and Nicole is going to lead that initiative for us with her, particularly because the foundation of all of it is planning, and we're placing a high degree of emphasis on a lot of different types of plans this year, as well as relying on the comprehensive plans that the city had already done back in 2016. Congratulations, Nicole.
Thank you.
Any questions for Nicole?
May I ask one question?
Sure.
I haven't had a chance to look through this whole packet, so I apologize.
That's okay.
Our Clifty Drive project that we talked about, do we know the timelines or?
Yes, so it is scheduled to let for bids in November of 2022. There is potential that that will be moved up because the state has additional funding that they received recently. So we're just working through getting our plans done, and the Redevelopment Commission, as they're meeting today, agreed to help fund our match requirement. So as long as we get all of our plans in order, we may be moving that forward quicker.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Nicole. Mindy is not here tonight, but I would like to introduce Alyssa Foltz to, first of all, welcome her to also the city staff. I'd like to ask her to give council a little background about herself, but Alyssa has joined our team to focus on grant writing for the city, and we find that that is a very invaluable effort on the part of the city, and it plays a critical role in our economic development and just in all around planning and investment across the community. So welcome, Alyssa.
Thank you. So my name's Alyssa. I have my undergraduate degree in political science, and then I have a master's in business administration. They brought me on, as Mayor Courtney said, to pretty much take over all of the grants that are written for the city. So that includes fire grants, and then police grants, and things of that sort. So to start off, some of the grants that we've applied for that we didn't get to talk about since the last meeting, no doubt, is the Tactical Urbanism grant, and that's pretty much to update our crosswalks and just make them a little more visible. This grant's for $10,000, and we also want to use the art community to kind of make it more aesthetically pleasing and hopefully just make it a nicer looking area. And then there's the Historic Preservation Grant. This is pretty much to educate our citizens, whoever participates, and the importance of preservation. There are going to be QR codes that will be placed in front of historical buildings, and when they're scanned, they'll have information, possibly a virtual tour, and so on. And then there's the Cynthia Woods Mitchell Fund for Historic Interior. That grant will go towards the City Hall's interior, so we can start using the upper space. And then grants we plan to apply for is an infrastructure grant that will come into play as well to help with City Hall and restoring it so we can use it as usable space, as well as adding some kind of elevator out front or out back. And then the Land and Water Conservation Fund. This will go towards our parks if we get it, and restoring those. There's still more details to be done in regards to that. And then some grants that are being researched are more park restoration grants, brown gym restoration, internship funding, crosswalk, pedestrian safety. Because part of that crosswalk is we would really like to put in lights on either side and really just light up the areas where people are crossing, so there's no possible, issues with being hit or anything like that. So And then stormwater grants and police grants, I know one that Seth and I spoke about that's really big on his agenda is getting a defibrillator grant. And that's because police officers, as we kind of saw, was first on the scene, so this will kind of help them potentially save people before paramedics get there. So, that's all.
Let me see. It's all right. You've only been here a month or so, and very, very active with the grant writing, and more to come, because what we've done is link the planning and economic development with grant writing, because a lot of our initiatives with the city will require some form of match or additional capital funding, and we're already getting quite a bit from the city as well as from our redevelopment commission. So, as well as you'll hear in just a little bit from the state of Indiana too. So, there's monies out there, and we want to make sure that we are doing our best to take advantage of them. Alyssa, thank you. Any questions for Alyssa?
Thank you.
Thanks, Alyssa. And I'd like to invite our Parks Director, Matt Woolard, to give a report.
Good evening, Council. I wanted to start by saying thank you to Nicole for being able to accomplish getting that $2 million Crystal Beach grant. It's no secret that's an iconic landmark for the city of Madison, so being able to put some work into that and preserve that for the next generation is going to be really important. So we're very excited to be able to get that started and really see that that entire project underway. So I'm going to go ahead and hit the highlights. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask. I'm going to skip down to Sunrise Golf Course. So that is something where, if you see at the very last page, we went ahead to the last park board meeting on 1/26, and we approved the fee changes for Sunrise Golf Course, for Crystal Beach, and then for the city campground. When it comes to Mayor Courtney and I, we did this comprehensive financial analysis with the golf course, and I put the exact number of how much we lost in 2020 of $369,707, and so that is something that's going to take a lot of work to try to accomplish. And our goal that we've set for 2021 is to make $1, which we do not feel is too comprehensive of a task or too ambitious. And just by raising or being able to get $1, we'll increase our overall park budgets by 20%. And so that's where we can start putting back into our Gaines parks, our Oak Hill parks, giving back to the community instead of just focusing on something a handful of people are going to be utilizing. But the way that we're going to do this is a couple different areas, and that was the first thing, was increasing fees. So that's something that we've already gone ahead and gotten accomplished. The other areas we've got to look at are overhead expenses, and then we've got to look at creating additional sources of revenue. And so that kind of leads me to the next point, that we did get our three-way liquor license approved for the golf course. So this is going to obviously create some other additional issues there where, in terms of management, that we have to be more vigilant with keeping alcohol off the course and making sure that everything, you're not overserved or anything like that. But that is another area that we can definitely make some more money for that. Sticking with the golf course, Jeff had his online training with Rec Desk. Everything so far for the first couple of weeks has gone well. We did have that big snow right when the course opened up on 2/15, but since people have been out playing, and I'm sure this week with the weather warming up, you're going to see that some more. As of 2:30 p.m. today, we've sold 53 season passes. We've sold 38 cart stickers, and we've sold 15 cart barn storage. And so just for reference, in 2020, we did 235 total of the season passes. We did 106 of the cart stickers, and we did 48 of the cart barn storage. And although we did increase those fees, we still expect to be right around that number this year. For our playgrounds and parks, for the sports courts, we do have permission to go ahead and build a shelter house down there so that we can utilize that a little bit more. And I have heard back from the insurance company that we're covered. And so now we're going to be looking at completing that project of that shelter house here in the spring. And then with the sport courts, we're looking at starting a pickleball league there down in the evenings. We still have the 10 to noon pickleball group playing at the Brown Gym Monday through Friday. But now that it's starting to get a little bit nicer, we want to utilize that facility as well. The dog park, so far, again, as of 2:30 today, has sold 48 passes. And then something else that we're working on, Park Hop has been around for a couple of years. Last year we didn't have it due to COVID. We had a Zoom meeting on that on 2/17 to discuss the department's involvement in it. And this is a collaboration with King Souders Hospital, the Public Library, Purdue Extension, Clifty Falls State Park, and us. And this is basically a fun scavenger hunt to get kids out and about, visiting all the different attractions that we have in town and the different parks. And then if you are able to acquire so many tokens or get to so many parks, you'll get a little reward at the end of it. So this is something that we're going to take place from March 17th to April 22nd this year. Then the last thing I wanted to touch on was Rec Desk. First and foremost, Kim Eaglin, the Park Secretary, has been doing a fantastic job with that. Really just learning the ins and outs of the overall Rec Desk system, taking all the phone calls with it, helping customers online, helping customers as they come in. So she's been nothing short of fantastic with that. We did go live with all of our membership reservations, so that's for booking your tea times, that's for getting your golf memberships, Crystal Beach passes, city campground reservations, and all of that. So far, in the month of February, we had 753 different transactions through Rec Desk, and that number resulted in $85,674.40. So that's just kind of an example of our capabilities with Rec Desk now. Not only is it easier for the community to be able to interact and be able to reserve all of these things, but now our data is just going to be that much quicker, that we can be more detailed with it and just be able to keep a better eye on everything. So all of that is going well. It's really helping our day-to-day operations. Very thankful to get that off the ground and running, and that's going to kind of help lead us into the master plan, which is where be reaching out to you guys. We've already talked about it to the park board, trying to get some input. We're putting a survey out there of just trying to get better information from the public of what exactly do we want, what do we need moving forward. So that's not due until January 2022, but something that Nicole and I are already starting to build a framework for. So if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer.
Are there any services, park services, like the dog park, can everything be done through your Rec Desk?
Correct. So that's, yeah, your dog park, that's for any campground reservation, youth sports, if you want to sign your kid up for that. And that's where we want all the scheduling to be on there too as well. So you don't have to call in to City Hall to try to figure out what availability is. You can just go right on there and we'll have it all updated so that you can keep an eye on everything.
Thank you.
Much better administration than the way we've done everything, paper driven, manually. This is online and just much more user friendly for our guests.
Thank you.
Matt, keep up the good job. Okay, I'd like to introduce Matt Wirth for Redevelopment 2020 Fiscal Fund Report.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, Council. As the administrator for the City of Madison's Redevelopment Commission, we are required to meet various state statutes throughout the year, and it has come time to meet one of those. Indiana Code 36-7-14-13 is now time to report on. So what you have in your packet, I believe I sent everyone, is our 2020 fiscal fund report. So what we're going to do, we are required, at the Redevelopment Commission today, we were required to make a motion to approve that report, which we did, and we're also required to then report that to the body of the City Council, of the governing body. So tonight, we are here to report that to you. That is our 2020 fund report. And with me tonight is Mr. Parker Criswell from the firm of Reedy Financial Group, and they have assisted us in preparation of this report. As you can imagine, some of this can get quite detailed, and so I've asked Parker to attend tonight too. He needs to go over the report with you briefly, and then obviously we'll be here to answer any questions if you've got them, but this is a requirement of the state for redevelopment commissions that we must meet. So without further ado, I'll turn it over to Parker to do his part that he needs to do.
That's good. Thanks, Matt. Evening, everyone. As Matt mentioned, my name is Parker Criswell. I work with Reedy Financial Group. We're municipal advisors for various amount of cities and towns across the state of Indiana. The past couple of months, I've had the pleasure of working very closely with Mayor Joe, Matt here, and helping the RDC build a comprehensive plan that, as the Redevelopment Commission continues to be able to pour money back into the community and improve it along the way, helping keep a clear vision as to the financial stability and health of the RDC. So that being said, as Matt kind of mentioned, just want to cover a statutory requirement with you guys tonight. The purpose of this is going to be detailing to the executive body the financial health for 2020 of the Redevelopment Commission. So that being said, I'll kind of jump right into the report, and at any point, if anyone has any questions, please feel free to hand them over. So the first 2 pages of this report can be formalities, title page, table of contents. Page 3 here, we see just kind of a brief overview of all statutory requirements owed by the Redevelopment Commission. So as the year goes along, make sure we're staying on top of things, make sure we're checking all those boxes in a timely manner. Moving forward to page 4, there we see the list of commissioners for Madison's Redevelopment Commission, followed by any employees that are paid out of the RDC's funds, local council, and then any overlapping units that are within the taxing districts of which the Madison Redevelopment Commission has work in. Stepping on to page 5, here's a summary of all of the TIF allocation areas that Madison Redevelopment Commission has control over. You can see the name of the redevelopment plan, followed by the date at which they were adopted. And then there on the far right, you have TIF expiration dates. That's the date at which that specific area will be expired. And then any assessed values for that TIF area will then go to the underlying units within those taxing districts. Moving on to page 6, this is kind of the bulk of this document. This is going to have the overall financial activity for the Redevelopment Commission for the year of 2020. At the top, we see the beginning cash balance of $1.9 million, total revenues of just shy of $1.4 million. As we move downwards, we see a lot of the various capital outlays, transfers to the schools, or excuse me, to the PACE, multiple other projects across the city of Madison, a few debt payments, and then finally other services and charges, totaling spending of $1.3 million for the year, leading to a surplus of just shy of $70,000 and a year-end fund balance of just over $2 million. Finally, we have page 7. This is just an overview of any debt payments that are owed by the Redevelopment Commission. The third column to your right, you have any that were owed for the year of 2020, followed by the final column basically saying that the Redevelopment Commission is meeting any and all debt payments that are owed by them throughout the year. So that completes that document. The last and final box to check off that is owed by this reporting requirement is within the Appendix A. That was also provided. Basically, within this document is a list of any and all parcels that are currently within Madison's Redevelopment Commission.
Appendix A is on file.
Okay, I've got some here I can gladly pass out. You guys can look them over. Basically, in summary, it's just a very lengthy list of any and all parcels that are within Madison's Redevelopment Commission, and basically helping to set what revenues are that they're able to use for improvements across the city. So with that being said, and I'd like to hand it over to you guys if you have any sort of questions, I'd be happy to answer.
Council, any questions for Parker on what TIF is, what this annual reporting requirement is, anything along those lines?
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, Council, just for your information, I do have Appendix A on file in my office, and be glad to provide it if you want it. It was just extremely lengthy to put into your packet. So
It's every single part.
It's everything
every
we ever
application
wanted.
area.
15 pages of small font.
So, but thank you.
Do we need a motion to approve this report? I mean, I know that
we did.
Redevelopment Commission did earlier today,
Yes.
so it just has to be reported to council.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, note that in minutes.
Thank you, Mayor. Thanks,
Thank
Council.
you.
Thanks, guys.
All right, moving on. Bills on second reading. Turn it over to Joe.
And this is ordinance number 21. Turn the mic on. This is ordinance number 21, or 2021-2, an ordinance of the Common Council of the City of Madison, Indiana, amending the city transfer station rate schedule. This is sponsored by Councilwoman Lucy Dattilo.
I'd like to make a motion to suspend the rules and go to third reading.
I'll second that.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. We will go on to the third reading. That is ordinance number 2021-2, an ordinance of the Common Council of the City of Madison, Indiana, amending the city transfer station's rate schedule. Any roll call vote? Well, I guess, let me back up. They're on second reading. This is, I guess, formal substance. There's only one person in the audience. Did anybody in the audience have any questions about the trash rates? Okay. I apologize. I didn't ask for public.
Okay, roll call vote. Roll call vote on third reading. Chatham,
Yes.
Bartlett,
Yes.
Dan Dattilo,
Yes.
Ramey,
Yes.
Creech,
Yes.
Kavanaugh. Yes. Lucy Dattilo.
Yes.
Date canceled. Moving on to the rest of the agenda is public comment period. Is there anybody here in the audience who would like to address the mayor's office or council tonight? Invite you to the podium. Lisa, if you'll turn on your microphone there, and welcome.
Hear you? Okay. First of all, let me start by saying I've missed seeing you all. If somebody would have said in November that my grandson, who's a senior, would get to play basketball in Kentucky, I would have called you a liar. But we're getting to see a season, so I've missed you guys. Trying to go to basketball, a lot more important. But anyway, I just want to just keep it into your forefront. Let you know, back when I was talking about the flag project, Old Glory, I've kind of, Curtis and I are like back and forth with it. Done some emails back and forth, went and spoke to the Veterans Council about it. Had one man that said if we could get the project going all the way up Michigan Hill, he'd buy all the flags on every pole going up. I'm like, whoa, okay, that's what I'm talking about. So, been going back and forth. It's kind of like not a citizen's thing. I'm finding out from reading past emails, which when you teach for 31 years, you hate emails, so I'm not very good at keeping up with them. But just to give you a quick update, kind of what Hannah's been sending me back and forth, I kind of pitched it off to her, and she's kind of, I don't know if y'all been in the loop. I think, Curtis, did I send you the email?
I think so.
Okay. So it says, hey Lisa, attached are the Duke's standard in relation to banners and flags and the engineering cost related to the field review. We will be required to submit a map showing the location of the poles and the Duke pole numbers, and will need to provide the dimensions of the flag we plan to display for engineering to verify that it will be okay to attach to the pole. Once the poles have been reviewed by Duke's engineering department, they will provide back to the city a detailed deliverable of where to attach the banners on the poles. All engineering costs associated with the review will be billed to the city. With that said, I will believe it would be best to target one area at a time. Once that area is decided, funds will need to be raised to cover the cost of the flags and the additional costs associated with Duke. Once that is complete, we can work with Duke to install the flags. So what I thought was a simple project, because a veteran down on First Street didn't ask Duke, and he's put flags on all poles, and Duke doesn't seem to know they're down there because they don't go down First Street. So I thought this was like a kind of a simple thing to work through, but when I got an email back from Duke, they said it has to come from a municipality, can't come from a citizen, because I guess, we could all just hang whatever we wanted to out there on their poles, I don't know. So I'm just trying to keep you in the loop, because I told Curtis, I'm not letting this go, because that flag means more to me than lots of things, and most things other than family and Jesus. So I talked to a guy in the street department about the flags on Main Street, and I know there's like all this stuff going on with Main Street right now, and he said, I think you have the lady who talks about the flags. Yeah, that's me. And I said, well, it's a postage stamp flag along Main Street, and they get lost in all those buildings, and he was telling me that they did have the big flags, but they went to the smaller ones because of the obstruction with the banners, to which my only comment was, nothing is more important than the American flag on Main Street. So that's just my take on things. So I'm just kind of keeping you all in the loop, because I want to see it done, but it's kind of like you know, the Veterans Council was awesome. They're like, get it going. If the city gets it going, we'll help you, you know, start it. A lot of support from them, which is important. A lot of people giving their phone calls and phone numbers and, you know, so they get going. So just bringing it back to your forefront because I've been doing basketball for 4 months now. And also just important to me to give a shout out to Patrick, to Jim, and to Curtis. I said when we came here, the most important thing for us was to be able to say, oh, we know people. You know, we can walk up and converse with people. So I have fired so much stuff to Patrick, and you know, he's my rep, and he gets right back to me. And I've been talking to him about a lot of things, blight. Living on 2nd Street, we have about 40 18-wheelers a day that are still coming down 2nd Street. They start at 6:15 in the morning. They're still there, so the signage, and Patrick's been real helpful with, you know, trying to keep me updated on all that, which I appreciate. Curtis understands my passion for, I live in the most beautiful town in America, and I want to be even more the most beautiful town in America. I want to be the most patriotic town. And Jim hangs out everywhere we do, so he listens to me rant all the time and never says, I'm off the clock, Lisa. Don't talk about that right now. So I want to commend you all because, you know, a lot of people are not approachable. I came from a big city and whatever, you know. So I appreciate you all. I appreciate the job you're doing. I appreciate the mayor. I know that he feels my passion for loving this town and wanting it to be the best. So just a side note.
Lisa, thank you so much, and thank you for being here, and thank you for acknowledging the hard work that our council does too. And let's keep working on making Madison not only the safest city, but also Indiana's music city, but its most patriotic city. We got a lot of work to do, but we're starting with just some fantastic landscape here. So thank you, Lisa. Council, I know that some of you have to leave, so I'm going to make my remarks very, very brief, and I'll push most of them to the next meeting. You might have seen the headline today as we closed that due to the hard work of our staff and support of Governor Holcomb's office and NDOT, we are continuing the legacy of downtown and the bridge approach project. With the Main Street project, we did receive the $5 million grant award. That is 2026 money, which makes it eligible for in July of 2025. We've been parking money for this. This is really, as we talk about phases, this will upgrade the roads, but the real redesign is coming behind this, and that's probably a multiple of the cost of this, which is to re-envision what downtown Madison and Main Street in this corridor to the west end of town is going to look like without a state highway running through it. So I want to thank everybody who was involved in getting this. We've been really successful, this year and last year in getting significant grant awards to invest in our community. Redevelopment today also pledged about $1 million for additional infrastructure investment to the city of Madison. So everybody's picking up the torch and doing a great job. So thank you all. Thank you, citizens of Madison, and everybody who's involved in this. And I'll thank you, everyone, in advance too for your patience, because another construction project is on its way. Council, anything for me before we adjourn?
Quick question for you while Lisa's here. Do you have any update on signage from NDOT at the new intersection?
Right, so they indicated that they were going to redeploy back to the site in March. And so part of the issue down there was they did not have the signage prepared in order to divert the traffic forward toward Main Street instead of the traditional path that GPS has probably taken them. So they're supposed to install new signage there on the sign mast, and there that hopefully will direct the truck, create the actual truck route, and hopefully that will start moving the traffic in the right direction, Lisa. But they'll redeploy to the site this month, and then they'll probably be down there for another 2 months. So between now and the end of May, when all the final paving and construction work and signage will be implemented. Thank you. Council, our next meeting is March the 16th, 2021. We'll have a pretty full agenda that day too. Thanks for all your help. We'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I move we adjourn.
I'll second that.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, everyone.